Hello, it's Alex, the Bookubus. I'm back from a few weeks of not making videos, and yeah, this is just going to be a bit of a kind of catch-up video to talk about, what I've been doing the past few weeks, and yeah, things that I didn't get a chance to do during those few weeks, and then plans that I have for, I guess, mostly, between now and the end of the year, which is rapidly approaching. So yeah, this might end up being a longish video, I'm not sure, because I've just got like a list of things I want to talk about and I've no idea how long it's going to take. So yeah, bearing that in mind, I am going to try and be fairly brief with everything to cover as much ground as possible. But yeah, anyway, first up, apologies that it's taken me a while to respond to comments on, a few of my more recent videos. Yeah, I'll get into reasons why shortly. But yeah, thank you for watching, for commenting. I do really appreciate it. Yeah, I've just that kind of thing has unfortunately slipped by the wayside. So I do apologise, and hopefully I might have gotten to them before this video goes up, but if not, I will endeavour to do so as soon as I can. So yeah, I guess one thing to mention is, the reason why I haven't been making videos for a few weeks, and it's a really long story, but I'll try and just give you a very brief version of some of the more major points of that very long story. So I got an abscess, like in my lower kind of front tooth area, and basically had to get root canals on all 4 front lower teeth. And just to clarify, I do try and take care of my teeth. I know they're not the most aesthetically pleasing set, but I do try to look after them. I brush them twice a day, I floss once a day. I know teeth are important, and yeah, I generally tried to avoid going to the dentist in the first place by taking care of my teeth. So yeah, this was pretty unexpected, and then to have like 4 root canals was not not something I really wanted to do with my time, but what can you do? Anyway, the dentist that I saw to have that treatment only was able to get one of them completed. One of the others, apparently the roots were too thin for him to tackle, and then the other 2 teeth, the filing instruments that he used to perform the treatment basically snapped off and are still currently in my teeth as we speak. So I learned something that day, and that was a thing that could happen because I did not know that before. And yeah, basically he just then was kind of like, okay, well, bye then, find someone else to deal with it. So that was great. That also did happen on Halloween, so I really had like the worst Halloween I've ever had. It was, there was no Halloween celebration for me, so that was pretty disappointing, but obviously was the least of my worries, really. Anyway, dealing with insurance, I'm in the US, so that's an absolute headache. Everything's, even with insurance, the prices are ridiculous. So yeah, the financial cost is definitely like a stressful factor. And then even, just trying to find someone that could do the work, without me having to wait a couple of months, it didn't feel like I could wait to get the treatment done. Anyway, the next, I guess, big point of the story is that I am now seeing someone else to get the work done. I went to see them earlier this week again, and they tried to get one of the files out of one tooth, and I was there for like 2 hours with my mouth wedged open and them just going at it, and they couldn't get it out. So I'm kind of no further with the process at this point. I'm going back next week and they're going to try again, so I guess we'll see. But yeah, it's not been a fun experience. I've been told it's going to take multiple appointments for them to do all of the work that's needed. They also said they're going to have to, at some point, clean the bone in that area to make sure there's no like bacteria of, you know, from the infection left in there. Again, didn't know that was a thing, but apparently bone cleaning is a thing. So got that to look forward to. But yeah, even the brief version of the long story was kind of long, so apologies. But yeah, it's just been a pretty miserable time, quite honestly. It's been very stressful. It's been very exhausting. Yeah, I've just not really been in the mood to do much other than wallow in my misery, and just honestly feel a bit sorry for myself, and yeah, not really do much other than kind of, yeah, try and rest up, because I've just not really had much energy to do much. Anyway, yeah, I have got to the point where I, yeah, want to try and break out of that, you know, wallowing situation, I guess, and figured, yeah, let's get back and make some videos. And so yeah, so here we are. So yeah, so that's that story, that rambly story, and yeah, like I say, a very brief version of events. There was a lot more to it than just that, but yeah, we'll be here all day if I tell you everything that's happened. Anyway, so moving on to something a bit more positive. I have a list of notes here because I knew I was gonna forget everything if I didn't. But yeah, one great thing was the Lurking in the Dark anthology, which is consisting of stories by horror tubers. That came out in October, and I read it and really enjoyed it. I thought all of the stories were good, if not great, and yeah, it's a great collection. So obviously I'm biased because I have a story in it, but totally you should definitely go and get a copy if you haven't already. It is available in paperback and in ebook, so yeah, I'll leave a link below if you're interested. And yeah, I've had some good feedback already. I know Pax over at Pax Panic did a video about the whole anthology, and Andrew over at It Came From The Page also did a review video about it, and I was yeah, very taken aback but very touched that he, you know, he said that my story was his favourite in the collection, so that's amazing. Yeah, I've had, not that I've had a ton of people telling me they liked my story, but the few people that have, I am very grateful to hear that, and I'm just really glad that some people have enjoyed it. You know, I was just happy to get a story out there. It was a great feeling to be published, and you know, I didn't have any expectations beyond that. So yeah, I really didn't think my story would stand out to anyone. So yeah, I'm just really thrilled that some people have enjoyed it. That's awesome. So thank you if you have checked it out. And yeah, even if you have checked out and you didn't like my story, that's fine. You know, I don't expect everyone to like it, so that's, yeah, that's totally cool. But yeah, anyway, that's that. Let's see. I was, over the past few weeks, hoping to do, or planning on doing, an October reading wrap up and an October film wrap up. But yeah, since I wasn't able to do those, I figured I might just touch on some of my favourites from the month in this video. And then, yeah, after that, I'll go into some, you know, channel plans and, yeah, just future things to, yeah, keep an eye out for. So, October favourites. Yeah, I read quite a lot of books. A lot of them were, you know, children's books and stuff, so that's why I was able to read so many. But yeah, my favourites were, I read two like adult horror novels. They were both called Haunted. One was by James Herbert and one was by Tamara Thorne. They were both excellent, thoroughly enjoyed them. They're both, yeah, as you can guess, haunted house stories, but very different, you know, things going on with them. The James Herbert one is very British. It's very, yeah, atmospheric and moody. Yeah, I thought it was creepy and just had a really great tone to it. Yeah, I really loved that one. And then the one by Tamara Thorne is a bit more lurid, maybe. The history of the house in that book It used to be like a brothel at one point, and then there was like a massacre that took place there. So yeah, so there's a bunch of ghosts, and some of them are horny. And yeah, this writer moves in, and yeah, stuff happens. But yeah, that one was a lot of fun. Also had some creepy moments. But yeah, it was a bit more kind of a wild ride maybe than the James Herbert one, which is a bit more, you know, classic. Yeah, a couple of vintage YA novels that I really liked. Last Act by Christopher Pike. This was more of a mystery set around a group of people that are performing a play at school, and yeah, won't go into any more detail, but yeah, I just thought it was a really great mystery. Yeah, it kind of made me realise how good, you know, a good classic kind of mystery story can be, because I read so much horror, I kind of forget there are other genres. And then also The Man in the Woods by Rosemary Wells. Yeah, this was about a girl who sees someone that she thinks is involved in a crime, but she's then, yeah, trying to like figure out who this is without this person coming to get her first, kind of thing. That was really good. Yeah, another just really good mystery story. Yeah, two of my favourite middle grade books that I read were Welcome to Dead House by R.L. Stine. Yeah, really good, and yeah, definitely kind of dark for a kid's book. And Wait Till Helen Comes by Mary Downing Hahn, which is a ghost story. And yeah, I thought that was a well-written story, and I felt like it didn't talk down to the reader, you know, the kind of the age that it's meant for. Yeah, another good one. And then I did also read two graphic novels, Blackwood and Witches, and they were both really good. Yeah, Blackwood is about a group of, I guess they're teenagers who end up going to this school for the occult. It's more about like studying the occult, but then there is some like occult shit actually going on that they become caught up in. So yeah, really fun, really like the art style, and yeah, I would pick up the next volume if I get a chance. And Witches, yeah, which is one I have heard really good things about. And yeah, this was really good. I liked it has like a kind of a back and forth with different time periods. But the way that it's kind of woven together is, yeah, really fantastic. And yeah, don't really know what else to say about that one without getting into spoilers. But obviously it's kind of witchy, but a different kind of witch than you might immediately think of, and yeah, really, really enjoyed it. So that's a very brief rundown of some of my October book favourites. Okay, sorry, I had to take a break there to go deal with something, but I'm back seamlessly, I'm sure. You'd never have known if I hadn't mentioned it. Anyway, yeah, on to some of my favourite films that I watched in October. I did watch all of the ones on my 13 films for October list, except for one, which was the WNUF Halloween special, which had been available for streaming earlier in the month. That's why I put it on my list. But then when it got closer to Halloween, I think it was a few days before Halloween, I was like, I want to watch the Halloween-y, more specifically Halloween themed films. And I was like, let's watch that one tonight. It was no longer streaming anywhere, not even for like renting. So I don't know why they decided to make it unavailable at Halloween, but there you go. So I didn't get a chance to watch that one. Maybe I'll get to it next Halloween if I can get my hands on it. But yeah, I have a few favourites of the month. I have one least favourite, which I thought I'd mention as well. It was the new Hellraiser. I just didn't think it was very good. I went in with an open mind, you know, I was, you know, of course I would like to have liked it. I did think there were some interesting things story-wise, and I did think some of the, you know, Cenobite design was cool, but I don't know, it was just lacking something. It wasn't kind of gross and gritty enough for my Hellraiser liking. And I didn't think the main character was very good either. I don't know whether that was just a script issue or whether that was just an acting issue. Anyway, wasn't a big fan. But I did have lots of other films that I really enjoyed. So in no particular order, or it might just be the order I watched them in, which is why they're in the order on this list. Anyway, The Possessed, also known as Demon Witch Child, is like a 70s possession, obviously, story. I think it's Italian, correct me if I'm wrong. So definitely has some Exorcist vibes, but this one, the kid is possessed by a witch rather than like a demon. The old witch lady was amazing, and so was the little girl being possessed by the old witch lady. Yeah, loved it. Yeah, some of the story gets a little slow, and yeah, not as interesting maybe, but it had so many great moments. So yeah, really enjoyed that one. Burn Witch Burn, also known as Night of the Eagle. This is like a black and white 60s British film about, I think it's based on a novel, I think it's by Fritz Lieber, again, correct me if I'm wrong, about a teacher or professor whose wife has basically been practicing witchcraft unbeknownst to him. So that was all I knew about it going in. And that all happens like really early on. So at that point I was just like, I have no idea like what is going to happen in the rest of this film. It was so good. Yeah, I just loved the style of it, the atmosphere. It was really, really great. Yeah, it had some great visual stuff going on. Yeah, just a really awesome film. Something completely different, Tokyo Gore Police, was just absolutely bonkers, like super gory, as you could probably imagine. I mean, that's what you're going to want from something called Tokyo Gore Police. But it had more to it than that. You know, there was a story going on, and, you know, more meaning to it. You know, there's definitely like a political and satirical angle to the story. And yeah, and just like absolutely balls to the wall gore. So good. Yeah, absolutely loved it. It was great. Haunted School, another Japanese one, but a kids film, so slightly different. Basically about a group of kids who end up exploring in this abandoned school, which is supposedly haunted, and yeah, it is. So some of it is fun, some of it kind of creepy, and then there was one scene in particular that was like this body horror shenanigans involving a spider and a man, and I'm just like, if I had seen that as a kid, I would have been scarred for life. It was great. But yeah, a pretty interesting one, pretty obscure, but I'm glad I was able to track it down. Let's see, Dark Glasses, the new Argento. I went into this with very low expectations, but I really, really liked it. Yeah, it took me a minute to get into it, but I just thought it was great. I just thought it was really good. I really liked the friendship between the two main characters. Yeah, and even though, I mean, it obviously has some like wacky stuff, it's Italian, you know, there's gonna be some things you're just gonna have to get on board with, which I'm totally fine with. So, but yeah, gotta love the way that it panned out without going into spoilers. So that was great. Cemetery of Terror, which I think is Spanish, and it's kind of a weird mix of, there's like an occult angle, and then it's like part slasher, part zombie, you know, bodies coming back to life type thing. So yeah, a bit odd in the different elements going on, but it worked. I really enjoyed it, loved the effects. Yeah, just a really unique one that like I was pleasantly surprised with. So yeah, I definitely want to watch more by that director. And my favourite film of the month was one that wasn't actually on my 13 list, but it was one I had on my radar to watch, you know, hopefully sooner rather than later. Resurrection, which is a fairly new release, and it's about a woman who, there's a man from like a previous time in her life, when something traumatic happened. He just randomly turns up again years later, and her whole life, you know, starts to unravel. So it's kind of like a psychological thriller, and I'd heard about it and I'd seen the trailer a while ago and thought it looked interesting, but I thought it was going to be much more of your run-of-the-mill type of psychological thriller, and it's not. Yeah, there's an element to this which I won't spoil, which I feel like if you can't get on board with it, then, you know, the film isn't going to have as much impact on you. But I just thought the performances from Rebecca Hall and Tim Roth were just astounding. Like, they were so good in this, and just, yeah, so believable and convincing that I was like, wow. Yeah, definitely one of my favourites of the year. Loved it. Okay, so yeah, that was a very quick rundown of my October favourites. Well, probably wasn't that quick, but anyway, let's move on. Upcoming plans and ideas for my channel, etc. Okay, 5k Q&A and giveaway. So I hit 5k a little while ago and I was meaning to do something to mark the occasion, but just hadn't yet. I would like to, yeah, as I just mentioned, do a Q&A and a giveaway. So I'm not sure when I'm going to get a chance to do that. Hopefully I can at least put, you know, the announcement video up before the end of the year, but it might be, you know, the actual Q&A and giveaway take place in the new year. We will see, but keep your eye out for that. The bookshelf tour. Oh my God. People make bookshelf tours look so easy, but they take like so much time. Yeah, I was hoping to do like a video one a month of my library tour, but I've only managed 2 so far in much longer than 2 months. So yeah, apologies for that taking forever, but they really do take such a long time. I think the last one took me like 6 hours of filming and editing, like solid, for like a 20-minute video. You know, it's a lot. So yeah, the fact that I just haven't had much energy to do anything, let alone be going through hundreds of books. Yeah, I will try and get more of these done, but I'll be honest, yeah, I can't make any promises for when the next one is gonna be going up. Yeah, just want to be honest about that. But speaking of books, I would like to get a book haul up by the end of the year because I have accumulated a few since the last book haul video, so I figured it might be a good idea to yeah, wrap up those recent finds in a haul video before we get into the new year. Okay, something a little bit different. Bleak Week. So this is something that my husband and I started last year because, you know, we're fun, wacky people like that, and we decided, let's spend an entire week watching really bleak movies that we've been putting off because they're so bleak. Let's just put them all together and watch them all in one go. So that was fun, and we're doing it again this year. And I was thinking of doing like a whole week of videos, like a video per day. But yeah, reality set in and that's just not going to happen. So I do plan on doing a few videos in the Bleak Week theme. So that'll be coming up in December sometime. Last year when we did our Bleak Week movie thing, it was, you know, during like the, you know, the longest night, shortest day, bleakest time of the year, basically. That was, you know, if you're gonna go in for something like that, you might as well go all in, is what we were thinking. Anyway, so yeah, I'll have a few videos all about bleak shit coming up in December. Look out for that. Exciting times. Scary sleepover weekend. So I held yeah, a scary sleepover weekend earlier in the year, sometime in the summer, and it was a lot of fun. And yeah, a lot of people joined in, which was amazing. And yeah, I'm so glad people enjoyed it. And I was kind of penciling in doing another one, maybe November or December time. But yeah, it's not going to happen in November because of all the other stuff I've been dealing with. And then I figured December is like, I know a lot of people are just really busy in December. And I know there are other, you know, booktube related things going on already, so I figured we'll push it till the new year. But if anyone is interested in that, you know, in the future, let me know. I was kind of thinking maybe either in January as a like combating the January blues type of situation, or maybe February for an anti-Valentine's Day thing. So yeah, let me know if either of those are interesting to you. And yes, speaking of upcoming booktube things, I know there is a big Christmas Evil readathon going on, hosted by some awesome friends, Kelsey over at Slime and Slashers, Kelly Hooked on Books, Michelle at Michelle's Melancholia, and Crystal of Fiber Artsy. Yeah, 4 absolutely wonderful people. They're putting on this really fun horror, Christmas, all that goodness readathon taking place during the whole month of December. So I'm hoping to join in with that. Yeah, hopefully I will be able to do a TBR video for that before too long. So that's on the docket as well. And I think that's the end of the list. So yeah, I definitely need to take a breather after all of that. I feel like I barely stopped talking for like the past half an hour. So yeah, sorry if that was like a bit of a whirlwind, but I just needed to get it out. Anyway, yeah, I hate to be like, you know, making excuses, you know, for not being able to make videos, but yeah, this dental thing has been like a real nightmare, and it's ongoing. Like my misery is not yet over, and I don't even know when it will be, or if it will be. Oh God, that's a possibility, isn't it? So yeah, you know, and I'm not saying this for sympathy or anything like that. I mean, when I've made a couple of posts on Instagram, and you know, some of you have been really lovely, and I do really, really appreciate that. But you know, that's not my reason for saying these things, and you know, I just hate to be that person that's always like making excuses, you know. That's not the case. It's just, you know, life happens, and yeah, sometimes, you know, you just haven't got the time or the energy to do the things that you want to do, like making videos. So yeah, just wanted to kind of keep you updated as to what the hell is going on, basically. So yeah, hopefully things will get better in that respect, but honestly, yeah, my expectations are pretty low at this point, since it's just all been going horribly wrong recently. But yeah, keep your fingers crossed for me, and I will keep you posted. And yeah, hopefully I will be able to carry on with some more videos between now and the end of the year. And I've already started thinking about channel plans for next year. So yeah, I will keep you posted on that a bit nearer the time as well. But yeah, I hope you are all doing well. I hope none of you have had to deal with dental nightmares. Yeah, sorry this was a bit of a long rambly video, and probably a bit all over the place, and probably a bit of like a barrage of information coming at you at high speed. But thank you ever so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully I will see you again in my next video. Bye.